If it's major riddance, then probably let it to be riddance. So probably also of monetization probably also would improvise toward the proper or from the proper improvise as much as possible. Which our GHD also GHD countable as proper also from a proper or considerable proper also degen supporters of proper considerable of causes proper also proper or from which proper also another proper also proper also major problems of the proper person can ring without interference of the degences are waiting for the last generation to falter, then with their sheer numbers, the vicious around towards the common person, they're done for. The dogs, what can these pets do to counter these degences stuff? We're constantly getting evaluated as if our persuasions are wrong. The very proper persons are everywhere. Each of these hobby grounds are interferes. If there are disagreement, that's probably for Nazis, probably also that's on the functionality level with it. This may sort of any also legitimate parties they speak, they represent or probably has different opinions of our groups are probably proper or that's on the functionality level of what will thieves do if they get matured? Probably also more developed, or probably also more thieves to probably also another, probably also from which probably also probably which probably also they would switch to civilian apparels. Legitimacy just $100 away. Suppose we read it, probably also some situations would also be of laws. It's already required. The lion is one of the most noble creatures. We still have to explain for this. We have to address on each of these. It shouldn't even be so much of the concern about what these were stated of. Their nonsenses that are persuasive could be applicable to the moon of these cases. These are killer systems. The lots are purposely simulating certain environments, generating feeling. Proper or also similar words proper also pertain to a proper or construct something of exhaust. They're filled with some hobbies with it, combined with crowd pressure. This 7 billion are casino shield. They switched the words to politeness, but they got there through violence, borrowing others' violence. Proper also small minor proper or minor factor. Proper also countable as a crime. How difficult could it be getting? Suppose our guys are majorly injured. They don't care. They don't care. Proper also would they care? But then therefore our guys are indestructible. We couldn't get into situations, but there's so few of us. These are morbid. After their wear downs and we start speaking contemptuously, after years spent at these jails posed as schools, these degences introduced the knights toward these feminazis. If these want to fuss, there will be islands, proper isles of organ removals, charcoals sent down their esophagus of their hijacked corpses, so mercury grant to the second on death. Proper mocker starting for proper mercury. Or rpobable or reocnte, rpobable or mercury, rpobable also formatted, also from rpobable also probably. Should be understood that that's not to be implemented as much as possible, but that's possible. But also it's probably not so much you're speaking towards the opposite stuff. The enemies just does it. They have caused a tremendous cry. For our guys, still has to be inhibited. The more polite it's supposed to be speaking more of F word and less of S word. It's just arbitrary. May as well be arbitrary as no speaking certain vowels after another vowel. Or is proper with the word the after another vowel on a Tuesday. Where does that come from? Statesmen afraid. Countries no longer exist. Irresponsible for the 1960s generation. Sending kids to colleges, that becomes support towards the kids. They're killing these kids, sending those to death camps. Some of the parents are aware because they're part of this degen. Suppose there continuous this much, this probable spam amount of hideousness. The nuclear bombs might be used. Also from
format of proposal, what would the responses be of? Discussions doesn't work with maniacs. Probable are also those who directly strike, sort of tunes in, probable tunes towards and strikes probable, or also after probable, mainly probable, not of probable, probably probable with inflictions of probable, then those are more than maniacs. Probable also less. Probable also much more with fallback fire, or probable not probable more than maniacs. One's probably should be, probably should be as tolerant as possible of, also as tolerant as much of, also, but probable does not represent of not combat. Also participate of combat, also minor, also not also proper. Reason for also variance of also or also. Slowly, wait. Speak English, please. That's a response. That it becomes that's a small group of problems. They may not sound in the Nazi. That's the reply. Then where are the small groups of proper person to counter towards those? Too tired? These hobbies, these games or proper also apps are celebrating the last batch of proper person to their death. While there's weighty weight, unnecessary worry, as exemplified, recommended, advised from these resume, these fracture leaks of freaks. There are far more than leaks of defects, as also because they are a lot worse than defects. Simply the troops from regions Turkey, Middle East, remove lots with white, which also also tragedy, were also proper also. Also American, also another, also also peoples of, also would solve lots of the issues. Also would be a lot of more preferable results of. Also similar description, also minor, also not, also probably, also from also similar words of. Which also not, also from also. For many purposes, not also from also problem. Check out the experts. Check out how few the upper class has gone from a forest to a couple trees. And then the 7 billion simply pushes over. They're not necessarily going to direct shoot a gun at Donald Trump. That's too simple. They're going to start about with his actions. He's going to get assassinated. Why don't he start showing their weapons? What's more barbaric? There's nonsense switching the words around. Wouldn't it generate so much of the difference of, therefore they're more proper person from whom was supported? From the Nazis. You don't appreciate with lots of its welfare, or proper reason, its welfare proposal, inducements received. They simply are hostile towards our guys, are vast and vicious. They does reduce a lot of their profile signals, also has, they are literally, lots of those doesn't have sensation. It's their hijack corpses that instead notice. Instead, they sort of receive a similar signal. Suppose someone has lots of anxiety. They probably should wish to, with that anxiety, if they are to go down, first probably were to major diminish. They should grab guns, grab weapons, grab hammer, grab sickles, start the second communist revolution, or whether or also name it as a third. Then the actions probably won't be as absurd of also comparative, also from also the comparative absent also of actions, also from also unactions of. This may not be as much of a war as it's of struggles. Processes need to be taken and evaluate how much of them. While there's lots of academics, the general ones are trapped in there with The enemies are quite vicious. They're going to get the stuff to a horrific level that they're going to start jumping out of their own hijacked corpses. Certainly, there were also other formulations in the recent statement of. Which also recent statement mentions. We're saving lives here also, by condemn properly towards the zombies. It's not at the levels of the, or also types of solutions that the Nazis causes of, also similar verbal words, also those has extensive amount of results, puppets, or also zombified persons, or also operate towards those, also not, also or recently there are also some for also from a also where there are for also another also probable also another also format from also also another or probable also another also from also probable which for probable also minor variance of also another also probable also or to their second on death of probable toward or most of erased of which probable from probable were deleted of which probable also another or probable also minor for probable also probable from or just for probable also another for probable also or just for probable also the does the zombies care for others? No. No purpose, probably not so much productive. Spending time with these zombies, the mass amount of these, they're arsonists, they're threateners. Probably goes for namely for police state, then starts removing their economic presence, probably system, also description for not profit support towards them. It cannot be the upper class glees that burn their success. That success probably largely come from the public's opinion or probably, therefore they will promise at least to assist. The divisions of Zerg specialize towards that, to hog off the famous persons to run after them. There are too many of these Jews. They're horrific. They run lots of these Holocaust camps. Hitler hasn't even done a Holocaust. Each of these Holocausts are done not by Hitler, not by National Socialists, also from also National Socialists, also another, also National Socialists of also format of also not by of. Therefore, it's going to get as much of responses as lots of persons anticipate. The places are filled with mass amount of Jews. Some moments that we notice in the N-word. What we notice are how many of the Republic are what's usually noticed of also some also not also from also what's commonly noticed of also are how shortage of amount of proper person there. Also there raises question how much of but we're immediately stunned because we're not supposed to question. Also, how does one question on stuff like this? Just stand there continuing in the middle of a room filled with already Jews that are simulating how humans should walk, should talk. They define, they move around as some hijacked corpses, augments. The level of these disobeys properness are tremendously. When they are overpopulation, that probably explains it. Most of the humans are hideous to deal with. Especially by these decades, it probably became much of painting. Although they're anti-Semitic sprays, also we probably are. There can be a lot of other spells they had inflicted onto the proper person, keeping them busy, kind of as also spell, remove them from combat. Has a discussion with them. These, which is substitute a factor churn. Some major defect, if it had the criminalness, it could still be factor churning as probably way more better than the proper person. While he realizes it shouldn't do it better, so it keeps paying. But the functionality level probably a lot more. These utilizes certain because it's fitting for the bunch of pseudo reason that one has to argue with instead of point a gun and shoot them. Are there discussion? Possible for discussion? Nope. Then probably should arrest them. Or probably also before a virtue of discussion, you probably also similar, you probably also most of, you probably also involved, you probably also minor, you probably also not, which probably also from, which probably also problem, which the probably also another, which the probably also another, which probably also from the future, which the probably also problem. When terrorism are down, those doesn't state excuse me, exhaust excuse me, and various these cut curses all day with their seriousness of the language instead of more of a relaxed tone. Has there been any single moment that when the person discusses stuff with the Jews, those doesn't purposely augment their hijack corpses to causes this major sort of this concern attitude toward of whether or probably also, if there are reasons toward it, they usually tend to have reason. They pose their pseudo reason as reason. Probably also if any sort of probably if also from also not also probably also if pseudo reasons come from Nazis, then those are from Nazis. At current at this America, Republic was Cormac, Republic the Republic region of Republic from Republic not Republic from Republic this generic language of the problems get lots larger. It can lots of persons supposed to account for what you could get outsmarted. There should be forums discussing this, not persons on Twitter, not waiting for young adult Republic from Republic not Republic teenagers or proper young adults to rescue the hideous that there's 7 billion of them. Check a survey, does a couple studies on this, and it reveals this. Name a single person that hasn't been harassed at one of these jails posted at schools. Harassing after the proper person was their goal. They regard the creatures as animation models, also as if, while in the cases of humans, these doesn't state and they are for him. Simply let it to be interpreted, but also simply attack towards us until they cannot ask these questions. Yet Donald Trump are the ones that marked on the article. Notice it's a national socialist, are primarily targeted. If these continue to target, not remotely operate as a proper person, then I'm afraid so. The bombs will not twitch their projectiles. What is exploded right next to them. Featured onto the CNN also. 0.1% of these, or a few percentage of the 7 billion would be a lot of feature reels onto the CNN. But also news channel. But also from also channel. Suppose there's something to be fighting for. That's probably, there are lots of problems to be fighting for. Instead, it's the also from a also not also again, also it's a proper person that are fought against it. The degens are left free to roam. Or not much of also revolt of interferences of also of comparative of also. That's how we see also 2 decades of also from also not also namely also another also from also degens sex got into this large amount of numbers. After they engulf with this education promised towards them, calculate, factor churn, surround others, go to these pickup stations, pick up apparel, claim to be certain ethnic groups, couldn't they engulf the remainder of the proper person? At this today, this entire topic about race ethnics are probably something of their realm. After the targets are gone, that's not going to be discussed. It doesn't necessarily have to be direct towards something. It probably occupies something else for a performer. Then it exists because it doesn't hold nice. Notice their inflictions are abundant. But anything but themselves hold nice, because that will probably coincide too much with the also from another also matched toward the also the boogeyman, thieves, also robbers of. Look at this nasty page of these fucking glyph marks, this blood paint. Also with pH of. We're not even allowed to operate. Why don't they start killing our guys? Try to do some their level of organ harvestry. They couldn't bypass a skirmish. That's one factor. But also large of those doesn't target towards the proper person with the knives. But also once there are other abilities, but were also on the but also proper but also there's but also from but also another but also their current spells of but also inflictions of no longer but also from but also but also another but also their inflictions of free but also not free but also inflictions of also but also another free but also proper but also then those will start holding knives. How difficult could it be, man? When the situations are tough, then it are tough. The zombies are not going to properly reply. We're not supposed to operate on solo. We're not soloists. We're members of teams. They're at the monstrous level where they small talk provides them proverbs. So also rebubbles with mimicries, rebubbles from zombies, rebubbles from zombie mimicries, rebubble or zombies mimicries of goes on of it was a trial, they did success. They already infiltrated the Bible groups also. Rebubbles from rebubbles to various religion groups of it's just not proper to be genuine. It's just not proper to be proper. Gotta follow what the zombies dictate towards others. They direct give instruction, but they yearly ask what are their wants and simply override them giving instruction. What's that for? If that needs to be explained, then those are Nazis. Those does get it. Also were more of also those know it of also probably also not also proper. Also yet also Nazi fathers also toward inflict towards others. Suppose it's on the defense level, they're sort of some other large group of then the condemns towards but also even more you need the also not also minor also not also minor format also not also from the region from also also evidence of which also proof of or proofing toward also format also not also from which the or proper also not of also suitable also from also not of also proper reasons for proper also the lots of the problems are caused from them. Those doesn't admit, those sort of doesn't also declare oppositive. It's probably tough to deal with or to counter towards those vastly which hallmark these American peoples needs to be dealt with. There should be more forums on this stuff. There should be quicker pace to also prevent danger. The person should be probable, tolerant toward others, also tolerant, also from also not also from also minor, also not also proper. Which the proper also that should not be not combat toward from also combat also not also proper. Which also not also from also proper. Suppose lots of the persons simply went blah 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 blah, but they're proper persons, they didn't get much of a movement. Then once they start producing essays, they simply get into a larger trap. Then these various statesmen just scores after these strangers, simulated civilians. The mimicries of success with a vast amount of numbers. The planet, Probable consider lots of the regions, or probably also from another also countries, also another also from also which also was conquered by them by 18th century. Republic or also another also from Republic or 19th century also. Then they've been getting after the remainders of the remainders doesn't regard it as this way. Probably also because there has been the book Darwin. Probably also, if not necessarily the rebel, if the Nazis didn't larger, or probably they probably prevented it from minimizing. Via their occupation, they will weakening their interference by being there. Or by being at their probably does considerable amount of damage. You probably also consider they are Nazis. These vast amount of these similar to zombies. You probably also not a provenance of what's the probable also not you probably also not a free probable also proper. Which probably also not a free probable also from of just for probable also proper. Which the for probable also. Suppose there was some probably the Nazis probably also Nazi dislike toward of, then they should probably consider or at least evaluate ones themselves. But also that's probably more of cases of extremism going. Which is probably also legitimacy just $100 or probably also adjacent amount of probably also from it, probably also similar amount of probably also not probably also from it, probably also a way of which probably also LOL. Probably also of certain probably also name probably also not probably also not probably also probably also format of probably also properly probably also not probably also from of which the for probably also another probably also of certain situations of probably also probably more at museum hours probably or at discussions of probably also from which probably also not probably also probably also eras of which the for probable minor or probable also another which probable also another probable also which probable also format probable also from of which probable also another which probable also what the state and certain punishments probable also towards the zombies what it changed. Notice lots of the paints has been used by various statesmen at Japan. If lots of the white was Walmart trashes want to do their whiteness, try to do it on their own. This America region of considerable overpopulated. There are too many of these Jews. There's way many of these beta males, lots of the hackers. Suppose it was simply African or also Asians. Would the situation be that bad? Wouldn't lots of the technologies be one day be invented? These maniac Nazis just has to bother. Probably were also not probably also from also not probably also proper probably also formatted probably also from of probably also proper which probably also another probably also formatted probably also another free probably also proper probably also those free probably also interfere so. That's how to properly get it done. Or proper way towards counter or with allergic reaction toward it, not this rewarded. They have to use also or proper also. Those compliments it toward ways of success also by this. The societies are run by them. Also for more indirect also from also not also also not also their puppets of which the problem also with the descriptions which also without effort also would it be much different of also if accordance from the Nazis those would be a lot different. The current policies of the probably also lots of social policies, therefore, also lots of the trends are probably also on trends, probably also or also war of probably also not probably also probably also what's the opposites of which for probably also those doesn't have to inflict toward the public. They just sustain with friends. Sort of this false friendliness toward it. Also, both this false friendly, this opposites, also the vast amount is more of hostile opposites. Both are hostile, but both will be sent towards the jails. If it's denied, but also those tend to not deny. Those tend to deal more inflictions. augment their hijack coefficients to deal more damage. There's a bunch of factory machines. They're operating as if they're vortexes with artificial AI. Probable, probably mainly for syllabus purpose, probable minor rhetorical remark of also remark of also not also from also probable, which probable also as if with tracking devices of which probable or with devices or probable also apps of probable also that tracks of. The nobleman today got to dress a certain way, talk a certain way. Right after essays, learn English. That's not even proper English. It's a genericalism of English. These are assassins. These cooped this region. Then after the governments condemn lots of white supremacists, then these label those as white supremacists. After they label those as race, will probably start to announce the word racist, then these accused, it's because of that, generate more nonsenses that are exclusive to these white with hallmark trashers. And these requests, how come a justica couldn't be more confident when condemned towards us? It's not up to them. Also, that could be done. Also, that's also from also those were proposal at the various termination zones. Also, not proposal from proposal at those various deletion. Also operations. Proposal not proposal. At various proposal not proposal proposal format proposal from proposal. Regions of proposal, those proposal at proposal delete proposal toward those of proposal of which proposal also or also another proposal proposal thereof. Then they are above governments if they're against Hitler. Then the rest of it are some nonsenses. They reduce the signals. One that goes as false politeness. False politeness are terrorism. That's not politeness. It's not therefore they doesn't hold knives, therefore it's not crime. Or not as criminal as a knifer or a robber. If they have the intent, that's equivalent. Also has started proposal similar words proposal also similar to the proposal descriptions of proposal another proposal reason for proposal from proposal another proposal proper which stuff for proper also not providence of worship which proposal or not of providence of worship toward the proposal not proposal proper which stuff for proper or not providence of worship which stuff for proposal of proposal not which stuff for proper which stuff for proper. That's it of this video, also video instance of wisdom from proper. That's it of this video, proper also video instance of.